Morrow's got the teasers, and Eternal Dirtle's got the chasers.
Next, on Eternal Dirtles. Hello and welcome to Eternal Dirtles. I'm your host, Zach Clark, and with me as always, Phil Blackman. Phil, how's it going, man?
Yo, we got a very special guest on the podcast today, Mark Rosewater. What's up, bro?
Rosewater.
What's up, Mark?
Hi, everybody.
Oh, wow. That's pretty spot on.
Good?
That was actually pretty spot on. So,
Hi, I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, Mark, Mr. Mark Rosewater, do you want to tell us about your Wilds of Eldraine teaser on your Blogatog?
Yeah, so this episode we're going to be talking about the Blogatog Wilds of Eldraine teaser, obviously. So we're just going to do what we always do, go through this, teaser by teaser, and kind of give our insight into what we think is going on here.
And historically, we're always exactly spot on.
We were pretty dang close for Lord of the Rings, I have to say.
You nailed Lord of the Rings. Your background in Lord of the Rings kind of nailed a whole load of it.
I think I gained a newfound respect in the community for how much Lord of the Rings knowledge I have.
And I just straight up predetermined the design for Bill the Pony. I was like, it's going to be an 0-4, 4 mana. That's right.
All right. So first up, here are some things you can expect. A new type of token, at least one done as a cohesive theme.
What's the new token, Zach?
The new token for Wilds of Eldraine. Fairy tales, right? I don't know. Some kind. So it's a cohesive theme. Is it different kinds of foods? Is it like enchantment tokens?
Yeah, it's a dessert. Make a dessert token.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That one's a little esoteric, a little too broad to make real guesses about, I think.
I'm gonna guess it's a page token, and it lets you. It lets you. It's a token that lets you scry because you're turning the page on your library.
Cue the Metallica song.
Yeah.
Okay, so a card that can activate to copy enchantments.
Yeah, bro. Thespian's page.
Thespian's page.
Thespian's page.
Yeah, this is like a reverse Lycid to me. So like Lycids were a card back in Stronghold that were creatures that could turn into enchantments. So maybe this is like that sort of thing. I don't know. It says a card. I feel like if it was a creature, it would say a creature. So that's interesting, but like I don't, because we don't have any context for this, I don't think there's a whole lot of guessing that can be done about this.
So it's unlikely to be an enchantment because it has an activated ability. So my guess is that it's got to be something like Thespian Stage, right? It's just it's a different permanent that can copy an enchantment.
Yeah, that's sure.
And it might just be a land like Thespian Stage, except instead of copying a land, it copies an enchantment.
Yeah, isn't there like already a card like Mirror Box or something like that does this?
Maybe.
All right. Adventures on a new permanent type.
So we've seen adventures on creatures or artifacts. We're not getting any more planeswalkers in the set because they said only one in Ashiok's already been spoiled. We could see adventures on lands.
I'm thinking adventures on battles.
Oh yeah, that's true. They could just bring battles back and start to expand that space. That's interesting.
So that would be worthy of a like, hey, this is the thing we're doing, as opposed to like we're putting adventures on stuff. Yeah, duh, fine. I expected that.
I do hate that battles can like everything just incentivizes you having to play creatures. Let us creatureless control guys just have some place in the format.
Yep. All right, an artifact that has two different subtypes normally associated with artifact tokens.
Okay, so food, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
and clues.
We're gonna get a bunch.
Food and clues.
Food and clues. Nailed it.
I'm gonna go with food and clues because
clues
like Hansel and Gretel.
Hansel and Gretel.
The breadcrumbs, right? Food clues. Clue. I think we just nailed that one actually.
Food clues. Yeah.
All right, a creature type from Alpha gets a deck archetype.
You said unicorns and Pegasuses, and I think that's a great call.
So my first call. So full disclosure, I'm going to out Phil on this one. Phil said Atogs, and I was like, sir, Atogs, they came in Antiquities. So it's a good thing.
I'm going to retaliate because you correcting me also assumes that Morrow is accurate in his teasers.
This is also true.
Maybe he's not.
My first guess actually was manticores. But there's not really manticores in like fairy tales. So bears is a possibility, like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, right?
Could see bears.
Giants like Jack and the Beanstalk. Trolls like the Billy Goat's Gruff. A classic fairy tale, the Billy Goat's Gruff.
Archetype, so they're going to build a So bears are popular.
Yeah,
Let's see bears. I hope it's Pegasus's. We need more horses.
Little hungry blonde girls. It's just Goldilocks all the way down.
It's just a bunch of Goldilocks. Goldilocks, the archetype.
But that's not a alpha creature type, right? Gargoyle is another possibility. You got Gargoyle.
Gargoyle would be sweet. We've never had Gargoyle.
Is more of a city vibe, and since we're in the wilds of Eldraine, I think unicorn's a possibility. Trolls certainly a possibility.
But like, if we're in the wilds,
personally,
if we're in the wilds, then it makes sense because the gargoyles, it's like the wilds have happened. Everything's in disarray.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that could be it. All right, fairy tale sagas.
Chapter 1, it's too hot. Chapter 2, it's too cold. Chapter 3, it's just right.
That would be amazing, actually. So I'm just thinking of like, what are the wooded fairy tales, right? That would be sagas. They're not going to name them exactly outright, right? So technically, we did already have a Goldilocks and Three Bears card. Like we had a Goldilocks card in the previous one that was
Flaxen Intruder, bro.
Flaxen Intruder. So Goldilocks is probably out as far as like a fairy tale that could be in there, but I could be wrong.
Run it back.
Yeah. So we got Snow White, definitely one that takes place in the woods, right? Hansel and Gretel, of course, we'd already talked about the breadcrumbs. Robin Hood.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to think of some other ones, and I asked my wife about this too, because we just sat down for lunch and we were talking about like what fairy tales were a thing, and I can't remember what she said off the top of my head. But there's many like Hans Christian Andersen fairy tales that like weren't really touched on.
I mean, they could also just adapt stuff that they had already done. So like we had Flaxen Intruder, but they could just continue that story, or the origin of Flaxen Intruder and how she actually got the bear carpets.
Little Red Riding Hood.
Little Red Riding Hood, yeah.
And there's like a Little Red. They already did that in like the like teaser trailer where they were like, and here's a red chick with a crossbow. So that's a thing.
Oh well, Will and Rowan are doing something along those lines, right? Like
I actually just listened today. There's they just released the story for it. So the very first episode of the story is out. Pretty good so far. If not a little like it has that style of writing that I feel like every Magic writer has, that just feels so like utterly like I'm the hero derivative, like sometimes that I'm just not a giant fan of. So like the boy that they're doing is a little too like
Kellen.
I'm gonna be the next. Yeah, I think Kellen. I'm gonna be the next Planeswalker kind of character, and I'm just like,
Oh, he's just like a dopey little shit.
He's just like so obviously he just has such a main character vibe that I'm just like But
I'm interested in Arietta or whatever the new character's name is. That's really an old man posing as a young, beautiful witch.
Oh, was that that wasn't the like queen from Snow White? It's a man.
Oh, maybe it's
an
old
broken
queen.
Mirrors?
I don't know, but like the broken mirrors behind.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
like,
I'm pretty sure that's just like the like mirror on the wall kind of situation.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All right, so multiple legendary foods.
Yeah, they're just making all of the gingerbread characters from their teaser last time with Garrick when he ate the head off of one of the foods, and then everybody was like, "No, not the gingerbread people." And so now they're just going to make all the gingerbread people legendary creatures for the fan service, bro. For the fan service.
I'm thinking stone soup is a classic, a legendary food. The poisoned apple right?
Yep.
The gingerbread house, right?
They've
Why
already
not a
done
whole
that.
house?
They have the gingerbread cabin, so they would have
There
to.
is a gingerbread cabin. You're right. Yeah, that's the green like mystic sanctuary
It's
land,
the green
right?
mystic sanctuary that makes a food. ETB
Yeah.
make a food.
All right. So a new card with a lobotomy effect.
I mean, I'm hoping it's. So here's the thing. I'm still hoping that this is where they can get miracles back in, because where else is there's miracles other than in fairy tales? Am I right?
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
miracle lobotomy.
Did they? Because I didn't look at the Aftermath set that much, and I didn't look at. I didn't like really dive into the Phyrexia All Will Be One set as far as cards are concerned too much. But did they make a card for like the sleeping thing that like saves Eldraine from the Phyrexians?
I have no idea.
So that's like a story point, is like this like sleeping sickness that happens that like I guess like won the day for Eldraine. So that could be a miracle, but I feel like it's already happened, so it'd be weird for them to be like, now we're gonna do this.
It would be like the rising sun on the horizon or whatever, and that wakes up Eldraine or whatever. But the thing about it, like, I guess
like the True Love's Kiss is a miracle card, right?
True Love's Kiss is a miracle, bro. So the way that they've sort of navigated the mechanics recently is they kind of just give like whatever the first effect was as like the rate, and then they just tack the mechanic onto it. So a lobotomy miracle would just straight up be 4-mana lobotomy, and then they just strict upgrade it by giving it miracle for like blue-black. And so you get like the actual lobotomy card for blue-black if you miracle it.
Would you splash black for that?
Bro, I would try whatever miracle they give me, I will try. They've printed 12 miracles in existence or whatever, and I've tried all of them.
Have you tried Entreat the Dead?
I have tried Entreat the Dead, and let me tell you, you have to do so much work to like put shit in your graveyard that you're like, why am I not just casting fucking Hogak?
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. A creature with 2 triggers, one for artifacts entering the battlefield and one for enchantments.
Wow. So Urza Saga gets even more powerful.
Yeah. I mean, a creature with 2 triggers. I don't even have anything to say about that aside from like, okay. Like, Sweet. Some of these teasers are like, all right.
2 triggers, yeah. I was like, what do you mean 2 triggers? So you're dialing it back from the normal amount of text you put on cards?
Or
2 instead of 4?
It just doesn't say whenever an enchantment or an artifact comes into play, X happens. This time it says whenever an enchantment comes into play, X happens. Whenever an artifact comes into play, Y happens.
Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. Dungeon. Yeah, fucking kill me.
All right, a new mechanic that batches 3 items that have been in the game since alpha, but never batched before.
So batched means what?
I don't know.
That batches 3 items together?
Batches just combines them?
Is that a teaser? Is that the teaser? Is the mechanic called batch? And he's
guess.
Like, and if you put enough things together, you're like, okay, I'm going to batch these, and then an effect happens.
Can the 3 things that have been in the game since alpha that are batched be Raging River, Illusionary Mask, and Camouflage?
Bro, I'm going to guess batching. Batching is like, okay, so we have banding, flanking, and what, rampage?
There's no flanking in alpha.
What else is there? There's flying.
A new mechanic that batches. Yeah, so
I like the idea that batch is just the mechanic and he's just pulling a ruse.
It's just like, here's all the things.
Yeah.
It's gonna batches when you what if batch is just banding plus like first strike?
It's gonna be, so batch is the mechanic, and it's gonna be like Coven where you need 3 different things, and it's gonna be like if you control an artifact, an enchantment, and a creature, they can batch to do something.
Yeah. All right, next, here's some rules text that will be showing up on cards. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, it triggers an additional time. So we got a Panharmonicon.
They've been going off on these Panharmonicon doubling up effects.
They love this stuff.
And then every EDH and everybody is always like, please stop printing the doubling effects. They're too powerful. They cost 6 mana.
I want to give a quick shout out. Let's give a quick shout out to Moxfield. Eternal Dirtles is proud to be sponsored by Moxfield. Moxfield is the best Magic the Gathering deck building website on the internet. You can create, share, and find decks from Commander to Legacy, and even fan-supported formats like Pre-Modern and Old School. You can see all of our decks on our Moxfield. Follow the links below to stay tuned. And then I want to give a quick shout out as well to our video where we talked about the One Ring, but at the very end of the video, you went on sort of a tangent about miracles and how you view miracles as a control deck versus like a 4-color pile style deck, and how they differ. And then I want to look at this next line of text. It says, look at the top 20 cards of your library. How badly do you want that effect to be playable, Phil?
So I'm very excited about the text. Look at the top 20 cards of your library. The thing I'm not excited for is that
remembering
it's going to be... No. Remember, once you have enough reps, bro, you can remember your whole library. The thing that I'm a little turned off about it is that when there's a big splashy effect like that, it's going to be like 6 blue, and the only players that are going to get to take advantage of it are show and tell people that are putting Omniscience into play.
Yeah. All right. The next line of text is, it produces 3 times as much of that mana instead.
So Nyxborn Ancient went through the Omen Paths, found himself in the Wilds of Eldraine, and now there's Nyx in the Wilds.
Yeah. Sacrifice all reflections you control. That's definitely related to the Evil Queen we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, but that's also there's what's the card where it's 0 : sacrifice, destroy all reflections or something like that? There's going to be a combo with that card.
Oh my god,
look that one up. Look that up.
Hold on, I know that. That is combo. Mirror something.
There's a combo card coming with this one. Zach's looking it up. He's getting his little clicky clicks on. He's going to pull out this card that says 0: destroy all reflections or some shit, and we're going to combo it in Throne of Eldraine. All you reflection, tribal, typal,
I got
it's
you.
called.
It's called Spirit Mirror.
Mirror.
It's an enchantment from Tempest. And it says, at the beginning of your upkeep, if there are no reflection tokens on the battlefield, put a 2/2 white reflection creature token onto the battlefield. 0.
So it's 4 mana, right? 4 mana?
0, destroy target reflection.
Wow. So you're just we have a combo card, right? We have a way that if the second we have something like this that says sacrifice all reflections you control, we're gonna get a bunch of reflections that do stuff when they get sacrificed, and then you can just play this 4 mana thing that gets to do it every turn as much as you want. Maybe you can even holding priority, do it a bajillion times and kill your opponent.
So this card is currently $2.50. So let's see where we're at in like 3 months.
Let's put our money where our mouth is. Let's each buy 4 copies, and then we'll feel like goddamn geniuses.
Okay. I mean, the fact that we even could remember that was happening, that card existed. I mean, you reminded me that card existed just now. Let me put it that way.
I go through a lot of deep Scryfall searches trying to find cards for miracles.
All right. Creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them have all activated abilities of creature cards exiled with card name.
Creatures exiled. Oh, okay. So it's gonna be.
It's like
it's like
the 4/4 that like you could play in.
Yeah, it's gonna be a Mist Hollow Griffin.
Yeah,
and you can exile it, and then all of your creatures can get a little pumped up.
Yeah. All right. Have base power and toughness, 4/4 and flying.
I mean, those are angel stats. It's not exciting. There's nothing exciting about that line, but those are angel stats.
Exile up to one other non-fox creature. What fairy tale has foxes?
Finally, we are there was too much fox hate.
Is there like Zach, a Briar Rabbit, like Song of the South thing that they could try to pull off in this set? Don't do that. Please don't do that.
I know there's no foxes, but now I'm thinking, would Alice in Wonderland be considered in this scope? Are we in the scope of Alice in Wonderland here?
So
can we get like Cheshire Cat style stuff?
I think so. I think you could definitely have Alice in Wonderland in a wilderness style
thing, right?
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool to get like there can be a sort of through line of a character that is the Alice equivalent.
I think something that's worth mentioning is you have Rowan and Will Kenrith, right? And apparently they're like a set of 4 siblings.
They're 4 siblings?
There are 4 siblings. They're twins, but they have 2 other siblings that get mentioned in this story, and I'm like, I didn't know that. Maybe
I'm
people
gonna be
knew
honest,
that.
every time they ever do anything with the number 4, I'm always like, did you guys not know that you built a game designed around the number 5?
Wait,
Every time. I'm always like, why are you doing 4 of something? Do 5 of something.
What are you talking about? This whole game is built off of number 4. Are you joking with me right now?
No, dude, the game's built off of 5 colors. Anytime they do something with 4 things, you can't complete a cycle.
I'm talking about 4 cards.
I get that you can get like one of each, but like anytime they do a thing where they're like, yeah, we're only doing 4. So like when we went to what's the one with the pirates and the dinosaurs? Ixalan. We went to Ixalan and they were like, yep, we're doing 4 factions. I was like, why? Why aren't you doing 5 factions? Yeah. They're like, 4 factions. It's impossible to do
because we gotta do so well for Ravnica that we would like to see if we can screw it up somehow.
They were like, we got to do 2 color and then 2 3 color because there's no other way to get all of the color combinations. There's no way around this, and it's like, just do 5. Just do 5. Yeah. Split it.
Yeah.
I'm talking as though I have any idea how to actually design any meaningful or helpful game at all. I'm speaking with such authority over something I know nothing about.
And this has nothing to do with non-fox creatures, which is where we left off. This one says land creatures you control. We got some more man lands coming. Apparently,
we know that for sure, right? They already spoiled the man land.
Did they?
Yeah, they spoiled the black-white land that becomes like a 1/4 lifelinker.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a lifelinker; it's like a draining game. But
yeah. Whenever you tap an untapped creature an opponent controls.
Whenever you tap an untapped creature. Okay, I mean, I imagine that will be something.
If you get your Icy Manipulator out and just start getting that value.
I feel like the reflections have to do something with tapping, right? Like every time that there's anything like that, Narcissian sort of thing, they're going to tap. So I imagine that maybe Reflections is going to have like a sub tap down stasis sort of feel to it,
Yeah. X is 2 plus the number of cards in your graveyard that are instant cards, sorcery cards, and or have an adventure.
This is
some sort of an X spell, right?
X is 2 plus, so yeah, it's going to be.
No, it's not an X spell. It's not an X spell.
X is 2 plus, so it could be anything. It could be any number. So it could be like
X is 2 plus, and then they give you what X equals.
Right, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's an X spell. It could be like
a 3-mana spell. It definitely can't be an X spell.
Well, it could be where like he may not be giving us the full line of text, right? Might be. It might be. This deals damage to X. Like there might be a front part of this sentence.
It could be like you have to pay. But it's telling you what X is in the sentence. Plus the X is 2 plus the number of cards in your graveyard that are instant sorceries or have an adventure.
So there is a card like this that already exists. It's the Murktide equivalent if Murktide didn't exist. That's like a 7/7 ward 4 or something on the ground. It's like the giant turtle. Yeah. I'm forgetting what it's called, but that one cares about instant sorceries and adventure cards in your graveyard too.
Yeah.
And my guess is this is going to just be another tool for Storm because they love giving Storm tools.
Yeah, this feels or it's one of those like Phoenix things that's like like it's a X4 where X is this this number.
Oh yeah. It's the whatchamacallit, the Drakes. It's like a Drake.
Yeah, it's a Drake. That's it. All right, creature types. We've got a mouse. We have a rabbit unicorn. Hey, we got the unicorn thing going. I got that right. Fairy shapeshifter.
That one's gonna be sweet.
Yeah, I think fairy shapeshifter is probably like the king of fairies, the lord of the fae. I think
it's gonna be Lazav.
Actually, it's probably not because these are all creature types. They're legendary creatures at the bottom. So, elf, fox, knight.
Don't even try to remove it with that removal spell that says non-fox, though.
Yeah, no.
Impervious.
Giant archer.
Does a giant need to be an archer?
Giant archer. Does it have reach?
Like SWAT?
Giant archer's weird because I'm trying to think of a time where a giant in any fairy tale has a bow.
I mean, it could be an evolution of a character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, Jack in the beanstalk, and he's chopped the beanstalk, and now the giant is out on the hunt.
Yeah, maybe. Plantworm.
Sweet.
Yep.
More raccoons, bro.
Elemental raccoon. I hope
More
this is legacy playable.
Dude, we're getting rats, we're getting raccoons.
Yeah.
We're getting the whole upstate New York backyard.
Yeah, man. Legendary creature, Rat Noble. It's Pizza Rat, guys.
It's Pizza Rat. Pizza Rat finally made it. Who do we know who this is already?
I don't think so. The King of the Rats, dude. It's actually Rat King from Ninja Turtles.
Could just be the Rat King, yeah. We're getting Vidalkins are showing up in a lot more plans. They're really working these Vidalkins.
Legendary creature, Vidalkin Scout. That's a character that we know about already. This is the first time we're seeing him because they talked about this character in the Gen Con spoiler. I forget their name.
We also have to remember that like it could literally be any character from anywhere because now that they have the Omen Pass, any character can walk from any plane to any plane. They sort of removed the restriction that they had set for themselves for 30 years. So now it could be anybody.
Yeah. Legendary creature, human warlock bard.
That is
human warlock bard.
Hugh Grant. I'm going to go with Hugh Grant.
Human warlock bard. I'm just trying to think of this is the thing is when you think of bards are relatively new-ish concept in terms of fairy tales that aren't.
They added them to D&D, and that's why we have them now, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've been in D&D for 30 years. I'm just saying, in the grand scheme, yeah. But in the grand scheme of what a fairy tale that includes a bard, you've got that annoying guy from the Smurfs that hangs out with the prince. That little dude, I forget his name.
I forget too.
We'll pop him up over here. But you know who I'm talking about, right? The little blonde guy.
Yeah, from the Smurfs, and I'm annoyed because I'm picturing all the Smurfs.
I know
and I can't remember the name.
His name is Hondibus.
Yeah, we're gonna get a Hondibus legendary creature for sure, and it's just gonna be a strictly better Fibble.
My guess, actually, human warlock bard. You know who it's gonna be an analog of?
Pray tell.
Pray tell, indeed, sir. It will be Shakespeare.
I hope so. I hope we get a Billy Shakes card.
Yeah,
if we get a Billy Shakes card, and I can't, and it's not just a Sensei's Divining Top equivalent, I'm going to be pissed. Okay.
I mean,
come on,
a warlock that is a bard.
You're telling me that the equivalent of the dude who wrote 5-hour-long plays in the 1800s isn't going to be the guy who's just changing his library over and over again. Come on. Yeah.
We're the new band announcement.
Here's the thing. Just like Top was took the brunt of it took players too long and went to time, which just objectively wasn't true. It's going to be similar where everybody's like, "Well, Shakespeare is boring," and I'm like, "Well, you've never seen good Shakespeare."
Yeah. All right. Finally, here are some names in the set: Candy Grapple.
We love a good pun.
Yeah, Charming Scoundrel. Food Fight.
I'm surprised Food Fight wasn't a card before.
I'm surprised it's not an uncard, right?
It feels weird that it's 30 years in and Food Fight is just showing up now.
Yeah. Protective Parents.
Mm-hmm.
Scream Puff.
Yo, are we gonna get the Hanna-Barbera entry into Magic? Are we gonna get some Powerpuff Girls?
Oh, okay. I thought you were going with something else. I was like, what, Yogi Bear?
We can get Yogi Bear.
It's Yogi, Boo Boo, and Yogi Bear's girlfriend.
Dude, bro, if we got
yo, how about the Hair Bear bunch?
Can you imagine, bro?
On their motorcycle.
Powerpuff Girls in Magic. We get Chemical X. It's some kind of insane card for Storm because Storm gets all these toys. But just think about this though. Imagine legendary creature, Fuzzy Lumpkins. Dude, now we're talking.
So who's your favorite Hanna-Barbera character? Because I know I have mine.
My favorite Hanna-Barbera character is probably Moltar from Space Ghost.
Okay, that's a great choice. I'm a
Yeah.
Muttley guy myself. I like Muttley.
Okay.
Muttley and Snidely Whiplash, you know.
Yeah. I'll give a shout out to Moltar because Moltar lived on a planet called Moltor.
Yeah. That's got to be rough.
Fun fact of the day.
I'm also I like Zorak too. Zorak's great.
Zorak is great. Yeah, Zorak is great. The original Way Out's very cool.
Yeah. Okay. So Screen Puff, Stroke of Midnight. So that would Stroke of Midnight is probably just a functional reprint of what's the blue card that has flash that draws you a card and makes all creatures.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Stroke of Genius.
No, it's just a functional reprint of Dress Down.
Why would they do a functional reprint of Dress Down?
Because that's what Stroke of Midnight is all the magic goes away.
Oh, you're just saying that they're gonna, rather than just print Dress Down, they're gonna print a functional reprint.
I'm just saying, like, that's what Stroke of Midnight like functionally is in fairy tales is basically Dress Down. Like all the magic, all the glamour fades away.
So that could also just be a like another everything gains protection or something, or everything loses. Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds. I buy that. I think that might be the most accurate one, except for Reflections.
A Tale for the Ages.
They're gonna be like, this spell costs 0 if it's the first one you cast in the game, and that'll be fine.
A Tale for the Ages. 3 Blind Mice.
Yeah, that's another one.
3 Bowls of Porridge. Hey, we're on to something with the food there.
So 3 Blind Mice and 3 Bowls of Porridge. Those got to be saga names, right? Like they're just setting up their chapter names.
Yep. I like up the Beanstalk.
Up the Beanstalk is a weird euphemism.
Yeah. It's a little rude.
And we'll catch you later.
I hope.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Eternal Durdles. Zach,
in response, up the Beanstalk.
Zach, I'll see you up the Beanstalk.
Up the Beanstalk to you too, Phil. Check out this playlist for all of our deck techs. You're going to love them. Also, if you could like and subscribe to the channel, that would be amazing. We're so close to monetization. Hook it up, please.